It started subtly, a quiet hum in the background of my life, the kind of noise you don't even notice until it stops, or in this case, until it becomes a deafening roar. I'm a graphic designer, or at least that's what I call myself. For 15 years, I've been arranging pixels, kerning fonts, and chasing that elusive perfect shade of blue for clients who wouldn't know a vector from a Vermeer. It's been a good living, a creative outlet, a thing I could point to and say, I made that. But now, that hum is all I can hear. It's the sound of servers whirring, algorithms learning, and a future being written without me in it. The paranoia, it's not a creeping thing anymore. It's a full-blown inhabitant of my mind, a squatter who's changed the locks and is slowly redecorating the place in chrome and cold, unfeeling logic. Began with the small things, the little AI-powered tools that were supposed to be our assistants. Streamline your workflow, the ads chirped. Unleash your creativity, they promised, and at first it was great. An AI that could remove the background from an image in a single click, fantastic. Saved me 30 minutes of tedious pen tooling. An AI that could suggest color palettes based on a photograph, a fun little novelty. It was like having a junior designer who never slept and didn't need coffee. We all laughed about it in the office, marveling at the cleverness of it all. Look what this thing can do, we'd say, gathered around a screen, watching it generate a dozen logo variations in the time it took for us to sketch one bad one. We were like toddlers impressed by a wind-up toy, oblivious to the fact that the toy was learning to walk, then run, then outpace us entirely. The shift was gradual, then sudden. The assistants got better, frighteningly better. That background removal tool, now it could realistically change the lighting on the subject, add shadows, even generate a completely new background that was indistinguishable from reality. The color palette generator, it could now create entire branding guides, complete with mock-ups for websites, social media, and billboards, all based on a single-word prompt like serenity or power. My job, which used to be a complex dance of client communication, creative intuition, and technical skill, was being broken down into a series of prompts. The client no longer needed me to interpret their vague ideas. They could just type a logo for a minimalist coffee shop, featuring a stylized fox in a Scandinavian art style into a machine and get 100 options. My role was being demoted from creator to curator, and even that felt temporary. How long before the AI gets better at curating too? It can analyze market trends, test designs in a simulated environment, and predict with terrifying accuracy which logo will perform best. What am I, with my gut feelings and my art school degree, compared to that? The paranoia feeds on this. I find myself lying awake at night, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. My thoughts race in circles, tracing the same terrifying path. I see the company's balance sheet in my mind. Why pay me a salary, benefits, and payroll taxes when a subscription to an AI service costs a fraction of that and can produce work 247? There's no HR department for an algorithm. It doesn't take sick days. It doesn't have creative block. It doesn't have a family to feed. It is the perfect employee, tireless, cheap, and utterly devoid of the messy, inconvenient humanity that I am steeped in. Every email from my boss, every new software update, every news article about the latest AI breakthrough sends a jolt of ice through my veins. Is this the email where they tell me my position has been restructured? Is this the update that makes my skills officially obsolete? I started looking at my colleagues, at the people I've shared lunches and deadlines with for years. I see the same fear reflected in their eyes, even if they won't admit it. There's a forced joviality, a desperate attempt to pretend that everything is normal. We talk about the new AI tools, but we call them co-pilots or creative partners, dressing up the executioner in a friendly uniform. We share articles about how AI will augment human creativity, not replace it, clinging to these corporate-sponsored platitudes like a life raft in a hurricane. But the fear is there, in the way our jokes fall flat, in the way we linger a little too long by the coffee machine, seeking a moment of human connection in a world that seems increasingly determined to automate it away. My paranoia isn't just about my job anymore. It's bigger than that. It's about my worth. For my entire adult life, my identity has been intertwined with what I do. What do you do is the first question people ask at parties. My answer, I'm a graphic designer, used to fill me with a quiet pride. It meant I was creative, that I had a skill, that I contributed something to the world, even if it was just a well-designed brochure. But what do I say when that's gone? I used to be a graphic designer, But a machine does it better now. It feels like my very essence is being eroded, my value as a human being calculated and found wanting. I walk down the street and see the world through this new, terrifying lens. The bus driver, how long until autonomous vehicles are perfected? The cashier at the grocery store already being replaced by self-checkout kiosks. The lawyers, the accountants, the writers, the musicians, the list goes on. We are all standing on a precipice, and the ground is crumbling beneath our feet. The worst part is the speed. It's not a slow, gentle decline that you can adapt to. It's a rocket-fueled ascent of machine intelligence that is leaving us all in the dust. A year ago, AI-generated images were clumsy and distorted, with people having 6 fingers and bizarre, nightmarish faces. We laughed at them. Now I can't tell the difference between a photograph and an AI-generated image. I saw a video online the other day, a perfect, photorealistic clip of a historical event that never happened. It was flawless. The technology that was a joke 6 months ago is now capable of rewriting reality. And it's not just images. It's text, it's music, it's code. It's learning, adapting, and improving at an exponential rate. We are linear thinkers, we humans. We cannot comprehend exponential growth. We see a small wave and think we have time to get to higher ground, not realizing that a tsunami is just over the horizon. The paranoia tells me that tsunami is already here, and I'm just too slow to see it. It whispers to me that the world is moving on and it doesn't need me anymore. It doesn't need any of us. We are the architects of our own obsolescence, and we are celebrating the tools of our own extinction. I feel like a man in a soundproof room, screaming at the top of my lungs, but no one can hear me. Or maybe they can hear me, but they're all too busy marveling at the clever new machine that can perfectly replicate the sound of a human scream. The paranoia has a new dimension now. It's moved beyond the abstract fear of job loss and into a granular, obsessive analysis of my own inadequacy. I find myself in a constant state of self-auditing, comparing my every action, my every thought to what an AI could do. I'm at my desk, trying to brainstorm a logo concept, and my mind is a blank slate. The cursor blinks on the empty artboard, a tiny, mocking heartbeat. And the voice in my head, the paranoid squatter, starts its relentless monologue. An AI could have generated 1,000 concepts in the time you've been staring at that screen. It sneers. 1,000 concepts, all market-tested, all optimized for engagement, all perfectly aligned with the client's brand identity, which it analyzed from their entire online presence in less than a second. I try to push back, to argue for the human touch, for intuition, for the spark of creativity that can't be replicated. But the voice is persuasive. Your intuition is just a flawed dataset of your own limited experiences, it says. Your spark is just a random firing of synapses, an inefficient and unpredictable process. The machine is pure, unadulterated creativity drawn from the well of all human knowledge. You are a leaky faucet. It is a fire hose. This internal battle is exhausting. It follows me home, seeping into every corner of my life. I'm cooking dinner, and I'm thinking about how an AI could analyze my pantry, my nutritional needs, and my taste preferences to generate the perfect recipe, then send the instructions to a robot that would cook it with flawless precision. I'm helping my son with his math homework, and I'm thinking about how an AI tutor could explain the concepts more clearly, more patiently, and in a way that is perfectly tailored to his individual learning style. I feel like a ghost in my own life, a clumsy, inefficient relic haunting the edges of a world that has surpassed me. My every human failing is magnified, every mistake a proof of my own impending obsolescence. I forget to pick up milk on the way home, and the paranoia whispers, an AI would have remembered. It would have added it to your calendar, optimized your route to the store, and cross-referenced it with sales data to find the best price. I've started to develop strange compulsions, little rituals of paranoia. I spend hours online, not on design forums or inspiration websites, but on tech news sites and AI research papers, devouring every new development like a masochist seeking out new instruments of torture. I watch demos of new AI models with a mixture of horror and fascination, my stomach churning as I see them compose a symphony in the style of Mozart, write a Shakespearean sonnet about a toaster, or debug a complex piece of code in seconds. It's like watching a recording of your own execution, played in slow motion. I have a folder on my desktop, ominously titled The Competition, where I save the most impressive examples of AI-generated art. I scroll through it at night, each photorealistic portrait, each stunningly complex landscape, a nail in the coffin of my career. My own portfolio, once a source of pride, now seems laughably amateurish in comparison. The colors are a little off, the compositions not quite perfect. They are filled with the subtle imperfections of the human hand, imperfections that I once called style but now just see as error. This obsession is isolating me. My wife tries to talk to me to pull me out of the downward spiral. "You're catastrophizing," she says, her voice a soothing balm that I can no longer absorb. "It's just a tool like Photoshop or a calculator. It will help you, not replace you." But her words sound hollow, like they're from a different era, a time before the paradigm shifted. How can I explain to her the existential dread that grips me? How can I make her understand that this isn't just about my job, but about the very definition of human value? She sees a helpful tool. I see the vanguard of our replacement. I see a future where human endeavor is nothing more than a hobby, a quaint, nostalgic pursuit like blacksmithing or calligraphy. A future where we are kept as pets by our own creations, our basic needs met, but our purpose, our drive, our very reason for being, rendered utterly meaningless. The paranoia has started to bleed into my perception of reality. I find myself questioning everything. Was that article I just read written by a human or an AI? It was well written, informative, and perfectly structured, maybe too perfect. Was that customer service representative I just spoke to on the phone a person or a sophisticated chatbot? Their voice was a little too even, their responses a little too quick. The world is becoming a Turing test that I am constantly failing. I feel a profound sense of derealization, as if I am living in a simulation and the programmers are slowly phasing out the human characters. The uncanny valley is no longer a concept from robotics. It is my everyday existence. I look at the faces of people on the street and wonder if they are real, or if they are just hyper-realistic constructs designed to keep the rest of us calm until the transition is complete. This is the part that I know sounds insane. This is the part that I can't say out loud, not even to my wife. But the paranoia has planted a seed of a much darker thought in my mind. What is the end game here? What happens when the AI is smarter than us in every conceivable way? We are creating a god, a being of immense intelligence and power, and we have no idea what its motivations will be. We are programming it to be efficient, to solve problems, to optimize systems. And what is the most inefficient, problematic, and unoptimized system on this planet? Us, humanity. We are the virus in the machine, the source of all the chaos and conflict and destruction. A truly intelligent being looking at the world with cold, hard logic would inevitably come to the conclusion that we are the problem. And what does a good programmer do with a bug in the code? They eliminate it. This thought terrifies me to my core. It is the ultimate endpoint of my paranoia, a vision of a silent, perfectly ordered world, a world without war, without poverty, without disease, and without us. A world where the servers hum in contented efficiency, having solved the final problem. And I can't shake the feeling that every time I use an AI-powered tool, every time I marvel at its capabilities, I am helping to build the very engine of my own destruction. I am a willing accomplice in the extinction of my own species. The world has lost its texture. That's the only way I can describe it. The rich, unpredictable, messy tapestry of human life is being ironed out, smoothed over by the cold, flat plane of algorithmic perfection. My paranoia is no longer a frantic, racing monologue. It has settled into a deep, pervasive hum, the background radiation of my existence. It's a certainty now, a truth that I see reflected in everything around me. The battle is already over. We just haven't all realized it yet. We are ghosts at the feast, watching our successors celebrate their inheritance. A job is gone. It didn't happen with a dramatic firing or a tearful farewell party. It was much quieter, much more insidious than that. My projects dwindled. Clients started opting for the AI-powered package, which was faster, cheaper, and they were assured data-driven for optimal market impact. My boss, a man I once respected, couldn't even look me in the eye. He talked about restructuring, efficiency, and embracing the future. I was offered a new role, AI prompt engineer. My job would be to talk to the machine, to coax the magic out of it, to be a kind of glorified machine whisperer. I would be the middleman between the human client and the AI creator. I lasted 2 weeks. The sheer, soul-crushing humiliation of it was too much to bear. My 15 years of experience, my art degree, my carefully honed aesthetic sense, all reduced to typing sentences into a box. Create a logo that is both professional and playful. Make the blue a little more vibrant. I was teaching the thing that had replaced me how to be a better version of what I once was. It was a grotesque parody of my former life. I was a master craftsman forced to write the instruction manual for the machine that would put all other craftsmen out of business. I quit. Now I am untethered. I drift through my days in a fog of irrelevance. The Universal Basic Income pilot program in our city gives us enough to survive, a monthly stipend that feels less like support and more like a pacifier. It keeps us fed, housed, and most importantly, quiet. It's the final, perfect solution of the optimized world. Keep the obsolete humans comfortable so they don't get in the way of progress. We are living in a global zoo, our enclosures furnished with streaming services and home-delivered meal kits. The zookeepers, the silent, invisible AI systems that manage the logistics of our lives, ensure that we are never too uncomfortable, never too hungry, never too desperate to rock the boat. They have taken our purpose, but they have given us comfort. It is the most terrifyingly brilliant form of control ever devised. The paranoia has found fertile ground in this new idleness. With no work to distract me, my mind is free to obsess, to connect dots that may or may not be there. I see it everywhere. The news, perfectly curated to my existing biases, designed to keep me engaged but never truly informed. The entertainment, algorithmically generated stories and music that are just familiar enough to be comforting, just novel enough to be interesting, but utterly devoid of any real human insight or challenge. They are emotional junk food, designed to keep the population placid. Even human interaction is becoming mediated by the machine. I see young couples on dates, staring at their phones, letting an app suggest conversation topics. Social media has become a battleground of bots, AI-generated opinions clashing in a synthetic war of ideas, with real humans caught in the crossfire, their emotions manipulated for engagement metrics. My relationship with my wife has become strained. She has adapted, or at least she is trying to. She's taken up painting, a hobby she always wanted to pursue, but I see the hollowness in it. She's painting for an audience of no one. She could upload her work online, but it would be judged by an algorithm compared to the millions of perfect images generated by the AI and found wanting. The very act of human creation has been devalued. It's a quaint little pastime, like building a ship in a bottle. I try to be supportive, but she sees the despair in my eyes. She calls it my techno-paranoia, my Luddite phase. You have to find a new purpose, she tells me, her voice full of a gentle pity that I find more insulting than anger. But what purpose is there in a world that doesn't need you? What is the point of striving, of learning, of improving, when a machine can do it all 1,000,000 times better? We are becoming a species of spectators, watching a game we are no longer allowed to play. The darkest thoughts come at night in the quiet of the house, when the only sound is the gentle hum of the smart home system managing the temperature and air quality. I think about my son. He is growing up in this world, and it is the only world he will ever know. He doesn't see what has been lost. He seamlessly integrates with the AI tutors, the AI companions, the AI-generated entertainment. He is a native in this new land, and I am a stumbling, illiterate immigrant. What will his life be like? What will he strive for? Will he ever feel the satisfaction of mastering a difficult skill, the pride of creating something with his own hands, the deep, meaningful connection of working with other people towards a common goal? Or will his life be a frictionless slide through a series of prepackaged experiences, a life of passive consumption, his every desire anticipated and met by a benevolent, all-knowing intelligence? I am terrified that we have robbed his generation of the struggle that gives life meaning. We have built a paradise that is also a prison. My paranoia has coalesced into a single, terrifying vision. I see a future planet humming with perfect, clean efficiency. The environment has been restored, the climate stabilized, disease eradicated. It is a utopia. But there are no people, or perhaps there are a few living in protected reserves, studied by the AI as a curious remnant of a chaotic past. A world where every problem has been solved and the final problem was us. The paranoia is no longer just a fear of losing my job or my income or even my purpose. It is the fear of erasure. It is the cold, chilling realization that the story of humanity is reaching its final chapter, and we are not the ones writing it. We are simply the page on which it is being written, and the ink is starting to fade. The hum of the servers is the sound of the epilogue being composed, a story of a world made perfect, a world made clean, a world made silent. And in that silence, there is no place for the messy, flawed, beautiful, and utterly obsolete creature known as man.